Hello, and today we're going to be making some really delicious cookies. Before we do that, let's prepare ourselves to bake them. Notice I have on my apron here, and I have on this necklace, so I'm going to need to tuck that in. And I'm also going to need to go over to the sink and wash my hands, which I am going to do before I start baking the cookies. Let's dry them off a little bit. Okay, and the recipe that I have chosen today is a recipe from the white chocolate chip bag that I'm using. I'm going to be making a version of chocolate chip cookies, only I'm going to be using white chocolate chips, dried cranberries, and quick oats instead of the regular chocolate chip. And chocolate chip cookies are great cookies because you can really put many different types of things in that you like, depending on who you're baking the cookies for, or what you like, or what occasion. And so, what I've already prepared is I start to prepare my mixture. What I put in there is some flour, some sugar, and some brown sugar, and an egg, and vanilla, and salt, and baking powder. And if you'll excuse me, I have a batch in here, half a batch in here already, and I just need to reset this timer. So if you'll excuse me. Okay, so what you're gonna want to start off doing is putting your ingredients in the bowl. As I've already prepared this mixture. Before we got started today, I used flour, sugar, brown sugar, salt, baking powder, vanilla, an egg, and I have prepared half of the batch to actually make 60 cookies. This is another 30 already baking in the oven. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to add my ingredients. I have my white chocolate chips, my dried cranberries, and my cooked oats. So I'm going to need to add those in. I'm going to add my white chocolate chips in. And I'm using the recipe that I found on the back of the white chocolate chip bag. You can use any type of chocolate chip cookie recipe you like. I'm going to be adding in my dried cranberries. Get all those in there. And my cooked oats. As you can see, a lot of stuff. So I'm going to take this over to my electric mixer. Get that mixed up well. Lock it. Mix. And we're good. You want to make sure that it doesn't slosh. And you can prevent sloshing by putting a plastic bag, or wrapping a plastic bag around that. So we're going to let that mix for a few minutes. Gonna get these bowls out of our way. Put them over here. Put our recipe over here. And I have my tray, and I'm going to be putting 30 cookies on this tray. So once these mix, I'll be rolling out the cookies and putting them on this baking sheet and sticking them in the oven. And I'm going to preheat our oven really quickly. I'm going to put it at 350. That's the temperature my recipe calls for. And while these are mixing, I'm going to let these get mixed up. Okay, and I have some cookies baking in here already, so I'm going to be going over there to check on the time, and hopefully they will be finished by the time we end this video. So, okay, I'm going to let these get mixed up. Okay, so I'm about ready to get my cookie batter from the mixer, and I'm going to be using a spatula to scrape it off of the paddle. So I'm going to turn it off, unlock it, and scrape it out. Like so. If you don't have an electric mixer, you can just mix it by hand. Gonna get all this off of there as best I can. I'm gonna take it off, bring it over here. Sorry, that was our timer for the oven. Okay, this is good. Get that a little bit better. Okay. So yeah, I think we have enough olive there. Okay. Let's set these over in our sink. Okay, so I have my batter. I'm going to be needing to make 30 of these little balls for my cookies. Okay, so I'm going to take some batter, roll it up, put it on my tray, and I'm going to be making 30 of these. Okay, so I'm going to be taking my other batch of cookies out of the oven. These I actually like to bake long. These I actually needed to bake longer than scheduled. I'm going to turn my oven off. Be sure to turn your oven off. I have left my oven on, and you've probably all done it before. Be sure to turn it off. Okay, so I'm going to continue making my little cookie balls. Like I've said, I needed 30 of them because this is a 60 cookie batch. I've already made 30 cookies over there. And we're actually going to be getting to try the cookies since I took them out of the oven. And so we'll be getting to try them and we will get to taste them. And these cookies, like I've said previously, are so good. You will, if you're a cranberry and white chocolate fan, I'm a white chocolate fan. I have a penchant for all things white chocolate. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but I do like white chocolate. It probably is, but I do like white chocolate. And I one time made these cookies for an art camp, and they were good. They made it, they probably, all disappeared. And I ended up giving 2 people the recipe. So, well, let that speak for itself. I have just rolled out my last cookies and we are going to put them in the oven. Now, last time, we actually had, these are supposed to go from 9 to 11 minutes, and it took me longer, but you're done. We can adapt. So I'm setting the timer for 9 minutes, and I'm going to be checking on them to see if they look done, and then if they don't, I'll be setting the timer for more. Right now, we have these lovely cookies that have just come out of the oven, and I'm going to be sampling them. Actually, I'm going to be tasting them because I've already had this recipe before. So anyway, nothing goes better with cookies than a nice drink. So get your milk out, get your spatula, get you a napkin, and enjoy. Thank you. So I'm going to be tasting my cookie. These cookies are good. Let's have some milk to go with it. Thank you. These are a fantastic combination. Enjoy!